Well, the weekend has come to a close, but we do not end things here. As you probably know, I did not release any new episode recently due to the fact that apparently certain things caught my attention that kind of unfocused me to release the supposed one. But today it's going to be different. So as you know, this past Saturday we have of course two events that I decided to review. The first one is from Major League Wrestling, or as many people may know it, as Major League Wrestling, with their latest show called Blood and Thunder. This one, of course, features the opening first round matches of the Opera Cup tournament, which is a legendary tournament that's been around in the early 20th century. And now we're gonna see who's gonna be winning it. And then we move on with AEW Collision. As you know, battle lines are being drawn for the upcoming Forbidden Door and plenty other things as well that we're going to be a pay attention to. And then finally, as you know, we're almost at the finish line for the G1 Climax, who will be representing the A block near the end. And I think some of you may like it, some of you may not like it, but we'll see how things will progress. And then on to our last and final thing will be, of course, is some news updates that give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events and promotions are thrown out, who's booked, when matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever you want to do, talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Nagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. To click on that subscribe button, you'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough with the jibber jabbers. Let's call this meeting into order. So let's begin with MLW. Alright, Major League Wrestling, it's been a while since I actually made a review, and this is their latest show called Blood and Thunder 2025. Now, originally this show was taped on the 26th of June, but it was not uploaded, of course, 2 months later on the YouTube channel recently, this past Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. So, it's kind of weird, so don't ask me why. But we opened up, of course, seeing Jesus Rodriguez introducing the president of MLW, Cesar Duran, and of course, Selena De La Renta. And of course, we had our first opening match, which is a six-way scramble match. We have the one-man militia, Matthew Justice, versus Okumura, versus Mr. Thomas, versus Ariel Dominguez, versus C.W. Anderson, and finally, of course, the leader and the black hand of Contra Unit, Mads Kroll Kruger. Now, of course, you probably can guess the biggest factor is Kruger due to his size and, of course, him being the most dangerous out of everybody. As you know, Kruger's true intention is to become the MLW World Heavyweight Champion. That's always been the case. And, of course, almost everybody was eliminated until Mads Kruger was the one that was able to pick up the win when he defeated C.W. Anderson by pinfall, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match is a lightning match, which, of course, you only have 10 minutes of time limit for what you have, so you have to beat up. So we have Neon and Paul London. Many of you may know Paul London. He was part of WWE for years. He teamed up with Brian Kendrick, but now he made his return in wrestling for who knows how long. But now it's amazing to see that. But this match, of course, did not go according to no one's plan because it ended after a 10-minute time limit draw. So basically, it just ended just like that. Now, our first match of the Opera Cup tournament, in the first round, we have Bishop Dyer, formerly known as Baron Corbin, taking on Anthony Green. Now, of course, there was some great momentum with Anthony Green, where he seems like he had everything under his control. But however, it was Bishop Dyer that was able to pick up the winner with the end will come or something like that. I think that was the move. But that's how he ended up moving on to the next round of the Opera Cup tournament. Now, we were supposed to have the MLW World Heavyweight Championship on the line, but however, Dijak was, of course, the number one contender to contest to challenge it. However, while everybody was waiting the arrival of the current champion, Matt Riddle, the backstage video footage shows that Matt Riddle was attacked by Mads Kruger. As you all know, he won the Battle Riot competition not too long ago, where it has a briefcase where he can cash in his opportunity for the MLW World title. But however, Mads Kruger was intending to cash it in, and Dijak, as you know, he did not like this whatsoever. He felt that, Kruger, you're stealing my opportunity. But Kruger doesn't care. He wants to be champion to make sure Contra Unit once again takes control of MLW. But later on, Dijak and, of course, Kruger clashed. So that's what happened. So you can say that this match was, ended up no contest, or I don't know how you say it, because it never happened. Now, we move on more with the Opera Cup tournament in the first round. Excuse me. We have Bobby Fish versus Satoshi Kojima. I have to say it was a pretty good match. Because we know Bobby Fish is a fantastic striker. We know he does have some great submission. Satoshi Kojima, former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, former MLW World Heavyweight Champion, and former MLW Tag Team Champion. You know how that was going to be, of course. And then, out of nowhere, Kojima was able to walk away with the win, and he moved on, defeating, of course, Bobby Fish when he applied the lariat. And, of course, Okamura came out to celebrate with them, and not to mention people were throwing bread at Kojima, since he likes bread. So I thought it was a pretty good moment. However, while that celebration would happen, once again, we did see, of course, Dijak and Kruger continue to fight in the backstage area. So all hell broke loose along the way. Now, we did see our only women's match, Ava Everett versus Shotzi Blackheart. Now, as you know, Ava Everett, was not going to take kindly with the fact that, of course, here comes Shotzi, who many people know she is, comes to MLW trying to rain on her parade. But of course, we all know that Shotzi's been hurt. She has a cast, and that came helpful for her. But she didn't use it as a cheat way. She used it as a way to ensure that she get the victory when she put Ava Everett in a crossface, and just like that, she tapped out. Now, our main event is, of course, part of the first round matches of the Opera Cup tournament. We have Ikuro Kwan versus Mystico. Now, this rivalry has dated back months ago. If you guys don't remember, Mystico was the MLW World Middleweight Champion, and he had to relinquish the championship due to the fact that he got injured. But out of nowhere, Ikuro Kwan stole the belt, attacked Mystico, attacked Cesar Duran, trying to show that this belt is mine, it belongs to Contra Unit. But for the record, he is not the MLW World Middleweight Champion. He is not according to the records. So basically, that's what he's gonna do, and that's what he's gonna have. There's gonna be a match next month featuring, of course, Mystico and Ikuro Kwan for this belt. But of course, you would think that Ikuro Kwan was gonna try to walk away with the win to defeat him. Well, it did not happen because it was Mystico with the Spanish Fly, and just like that, it was over. However, Ikuro Kwan, pissed off at the fact that he lost, he decided to green mist the referee, which was uncalled for. However, while the celebration was happening in the ring, we continue with more with Dijak and Kruger, and they went up to the rooftop. And then we did see Kruger try to rush into Dijak until Dijak tossed him over the building. But the strange part is, no body was found. Kruger just disappeared. It's still unclear what happened, and Dijak has no idea what's going on, not even the commentators. So we'll see what happens next month, because it's becoming exciting, because as you know, we have two men who are determined to become MLW World Heavyweight Champion. But the real question is, what's the play here now? So stay tuned for that. But as of right now, let's move on to our next review, and this is AEW Collision. Okay, AEW Collision. We opened up with the TNT Championship on the line. As you know, Kyle Fletcher made the challenge saying, whoever step up, bring your A game. During an exclusive interview, of course, Willow Nightingale became like the official spokesperson for Tomohiro Ishii, saying that, he'll step up. And that's exactly what happened. Now, Tomohiro Ishii, we can agree, he is a tough SOB. We know that he is capable of anything. However, of course, Kyle Fletcher, as you probably can guess, is challenging his killer instinct to ensure that he will prove he is the greatest TNT champion. And that's exactly what he did when he applied the Brainbuster, and just like that, 1, 2, 3 is over. However, it was still not enough for him, so he sent a direct message to New Japan saying, throw in your very best at me at Forbidden Door for the TNT title. And that's exactly what's going to happen. But I think the real question we ask ourselves, who is New Japan's going to send? Not to mention the scum of the earth, of course, Don Callis, spokesperson for Kyle Fletcher, revealed a little history with New Japan about a tie that, of course, they gave him as a gift for being part of the contribution that they put in. But he said that once Kyle Fletcher defeats whoever they send, he'll take the tie off and burn it into shreds. Showing his disrespect for gratitude that New Japan has shown him over the years. But the real question we have to ask ourselves, who will be the one to do it? Well, let's just wait and see. Now, we did see Ricochet and the Gates of Agony causing all kinds of hell in the back, attacking people. Of course, sending a message saying that, once again, people are showing no respect, and they said that they'll demand to get what they want. The real question what that is. I wouldn't be surprised if they're demanding, of course, gold. There are some people who commented a while back about maybe the possibility of them becoming AEW World Trios Champion. Maybe that's one of the possibilities, but we'll see what happens. Now, Alicia Atout had a little interview with the Patriarchy, more specifically Kip Sabian, Nick Wayne, and of course Jaina Wayne, talking about Christian Cage. As you know, there was a lot of things, of course, that Nick Wayne had to say about, of course, the plans that they set up and all this and that. But however, Nick Wayne made it perfectly clear, saying that he will end Christian Cage's career once and for all. So we will see what happens. Now, our next match, we have Megan Bayne versus Emily Rose. Now, of course, you can say this was a squash match, because obviously Megan Bayne was going to pick up the win, and that's exactly what she did when she applied the running power bomb, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, we did see an interview with Big Bill and Brian Keith. It seems that they're not happy with the results of losing to the Bang Bang Gang in the tournament. So they will be keeping their eyes out on that match. So we'll see what happens until then. Now, Juice Robinson ended up being in a ring against Ricochet. So you can tell this match was going to be interesting. Not to mention the Gates of Agony gets involved in this match. But when things seems like it was going well, apparently Big Bill showed up to teach Juice Robinson a lesson, And that's exactly what happened. And then, of course, Ricochet applied the Spirit Bomb, and just like that, it was over. Now, of course, they throw in a little video promo about Athena, about her status. As you know, their dozens do believe that she has the capability of defeating Toni Storm at Forbidden Door for the AEW Women's World Title. But the real question, can she pull it off? Well, we'll just wait and see what happens until then. Now, Max Caster was interviewed by Lexi Neer about what happened when he had that match against Rush and the attack on LL5. But of course, he's not too worried about that. And then, of course, Jet Speed and AR Fox saved them from that. But it seems like he appreciates the save, but it's like whatever, that sort of thing. So once again, he goes into the ring to do his usual thing. Now, our next match is FTR along with Stokely Hathaway to take on Ryan Zuko, Joe Keys, and Josh Fuller. But you probably can guess that this match ended in a very interesting way because Stokely Hathaway applied a spike pile driver onto, I don't know who it was, and just like that, it was over. So basically, they're sending a message that Stokely is going to destroy Adam Cole. Yeah, right. So you probably can guess that. Now, before our next match, we did see Daniel Garcia making his way to the commentary because he is taking a ringside seat to check out the match that was coming up, which is Hechicero versus AR Fox. Now, of course, as you know, there is going to be a fatal four-way #1 contendership. Whoever walks out will challenge Zack Sabre Jr. for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. So that is one of the things that's been mentioned. Apparently, the names that have been put on the hat was, of course, Hechicero, Daniel Garcia, Lee Moriarty, and, of course, Nigel McGuinness. Now, of course, Nigel and Daniel, as much as they were partners, they understand that this is something very important. They need to keep their eyes open towards Hechicero, and that's exactly what happened. But in the back during the match, we did see, of course, Lee Moriarty try to study, of course, Hechicero, who's, as you all know, he's part of that fatal four-way. But it was Hechicero with, of course, a rear chin lock that allowed him to pick up the win. So the real question is, how much information has Nigel McGuinness, Daniel Garcia, and Lee Moriarty got from this match? I'm sure they'll be scouting each other before we get to Forbidden Door. Now, Harley Cameron put out a very interesting vignette. As you know, she covered her face after she was dismantled. So this is something I'm sure is going to be interesting to watch. Our next match, we have the Triangle Madness, Tekla, Sky Blue, and Julia Hart taking on Ty Mello, Queen Aminata, and, of course, Willow Nightingale as payback for what they have caused since the very beginning when they first hooked up. But, of course, you would see some maneuvers that the Triangle of Madness would do. But in the end, it was, of course, Sky Blue that was able to pick up the win by pinning Ty Mello, and just like that, it was completely over. Now, our next match, we have Max Caster taking on Katsuyori Shibata. Well, you probably can guess that this match was over, and Shibata applied the PK onto him, and just like that, it was over. And of course, Shibata actually lifted up Max Caster, showing him respect that he stood up against a guy like Shibata. But however, the celebration was cut short with the arrival, of course, of LFI, tried to deal with him. But however, Jet Speed showed up, who still had some unfinished business with LFI. And then, of course, we jump into the match between LFI taking on Jet Speed and our current AEW World Heavyweight Champion, Rush. Now, of course, we know the LFI, they are a very ruthless group that they will do whatever it takes to dismantle people that stand in their way. But it was Hangman who defeated Dralistico with the buckshot lariat, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. So, we'll see what happens. As you probably know, we're expecting what's going to happen with Hangman to take on MJF for the AEW World Heavyweight title. So, stay tuned for more of that with AEW. So, let's move on to our last and final thing. Not final thing. My bad. We're doing the G1. Damn, I need to put a note here. But anyway, yeah. So, let's move on with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Continuing on with the G1 Climax. Okay, As you all know, we are now in the point where some wrestlers will be eliminated, others will proceed on in the G1 Climax by New Japan Pro Wrestling. So we're going to see how this is going to go. Now keep in mind, this is only the A block matches, so don't get confused on that matter. So we'll go from A to Z on this one. Now our first match, we have Taichi versus Boltin Oleg. Now of course, Taichi, as you know, he's been barely hanging on by a thread on this particular moment with only 6 points. But the real question is, can he get the necessary points to continue on? Because in the moment, Boltin Oleg only had 8. So basically, this is one of those matches where is Taichi out or will he continue on? That's a very good question. And it was, of course, one of those moments where, of course, either way, one has to come out with the victory. In the end, it was Boltin Oleg who did that when he applied the kamikaze, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Boltin Oleg gained 2 more points with the total of 10, my bad, 10. So just like that, Taichi's G1 is over for now, but we'll see what continues on in the future for him. Now our next match, we have Sanada versus Rohei Oiwa. Of course, when it comes to Sanada, you all know he's a scumbag just like Evil, and he will do whatever it takes to win. His biggest opening when that happened was, of course, when the ref was taken out, and then he used the guitar on Oiwa, whacking him, and just like that, he pulled the referee back in. Then, of course, he pinned Oiwa, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, he won, picking up his next 2 points with a total of 8. But I highly doubt that Sanada and Oiwa might even make it to the finals. Now our next match, we have Cal Newman versus Yota Tsuji. I have to say, this is one of those matches where, of course, Cal Newman is determined to live the moment instead of proving people wrong, knowing that a guy like him, who is bit of a less experience in this tournament, was not going to succeed. But it was Yota Tsuji that was able to pick up the win. We have assumed that he will always apply, of course, the Gene Blaster, but nope, he applied the 17 crosses, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Yota Tsuji gained the total points of 10, leaving Cal Newman of the total of 8. Now the next match, Evil versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. Now it's no secret about these two history, if you guys know. But I think it was last year, Evil is determined to send Tanahashi away, knowing that he feels that he needs to be buried and alive, because at the moment, Evil's true goal is to win the IWGP World title and make sure that with him as champion, that the entire New Japan will do what he says, let him do whatever he wants, and he has to go to Tanahashi. However, we did see Dick Togo and, of course, Fale getting in the ring, but Evil was saying don't get involved. But of course, Evil being Evil, he played everyone, and he threw powder right in the face of Tanahashi. Then he applied everything as Evil on him, giving him, of course, the total points of 12. And this is the one thing I hate the most. I'm hoping he does not win this tournament, because that's the last thing anybody needs. Now, our main event is, of course, David Finlay versus Yuya Uemura. I have to say, it was a very fantastic match. I have to say, everybody pulled their thread. Now, of course, David Finlay, as you know, is determined to get back on top as possible to show that he is still the true savage that he is. And that's exactly what we're trying. Not to mention, Uemura tried to block, of course, the overkill, but it only took 2 overkills by Finlay to win this match, and just like that, with the total points of 10, and of course leaving, of course, Uemura with 10. However, at the end of after this was over, it was later revealed that only 3 can advance in the tournament, and it turned out, and this is something I did not expect, Yota Tsuji and David Finlay, and of course, surprise, surprise, the biggest scumbag on the planet, of course, Evil's in it, and this is the last thing we need. Now, of course, we may have the same thing with the B block, so we're going to be waiting on that when it happens. So stay tuned for that. But as of right now, we are officially done with our reviews. Let's move on with, of course, with some news updates. Okay, so welcome back to our news updates. Now, unfortunately, on this part of our episode, we do not have upcoming events, but we do have some interesting developments that I'm willing to share with all of you. Now, the first one is coming from, of course, um, the Wrestling Observer, where they're talking about the relationship between MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. Now, many people might have assumed they were going to last longer. Now, it was later reported that saying that the breakup happened was not on the request of MVP. It was supposed by another member of the Hurt Syndicate. We don't know who. If MVP did not do this, then it has to be either Shelton Benjamin or Bobby Lashley. So it's still unclear why it happened. But I mean, I think many people were hoping that this is gonna last longer, but unfortunately, it didn't. We haven't seen Adriana Rizzo for quite some time, as you all know, on NXT. Well, later it was confirmed that she suffered a torn an ACL and what is it? Meniscus? Hopefully I pronounced it right. So she's going to be out for about maybe 6 to 9 months of recovery. So speedy recovery, Adriana. So we can't wait to see you again. Ilja Dragunov, who we haven't seen for quite some time, well, it's been reported that he is medically discharged to return to compete in WWE. However, WWE is still awaiting for the right time to bring him in on TV. Fightful Select reports that Kyle Fletcher, as you know, retaining the TNT Championship, he decided to re-sign with AEW. Now, of course, I'm gonna have that distinct feeling that some WWE fan base are not happy with that. They probably wish he just would have just left WWE, better off with they probably would prefer Kyle Fletcher leave AEW and move on to WWE. Well, looks like he made that choice. Now, as you all know, recently I did talk about Satoru Iroda, who is in fact a Joshi wrestler who is officially now involved in politics. Well, it turns out she's not the only one. There was a particular wrestler named Linda who wears this mask. Many of you who follow Stardom may have seen her a few times on the New Blood events, and she just recently posted out, of course, something about her involvement in that. So this is what she said. Let me pull it up real quick. Here it is. So this is what she said. I have taken off my mask. My name is Michiko Amai. I'm announcing my candidacy for the Ozumino City Council election in October. The days I spent captivating as a masked female wrestler Linda are also an important part of who I am underneath the real name. With a resolve to listen closely to the voice of the community, face them head on, I will climb the new mount. So yeah, basically she's taking off the mask. It's not one of those lucha libre masks. It's just one of those masks you cover your face like that with the string on the back or so. I never really seen her that much in major promotions. Mostly she's been independent. But hearing her that she's going to be involved in politics as a councilwoman is interesting. We know there have been wrestlers involved in politics in the Japanese wrestling scene. Of course, like Antonio Inoki, Hiroshi Asai, a few others. But there was no indications with Linda, or should I say Michiko, that she is in fact retiring. So still unclear about that scene, but yes. So we'll find out more information. What's her idea now involving this? Now, finally, this one's a very interesting one. Many of you may have heard. Ashante the Adonis has announced that he is in fact retiring from pro wrestling after 6 years with WWE, which was really unexpected. I did not see him. We haven't seen much of him. I know that many people can say that his biggest moment is with with Hit Row, with of course AJ Francis, formerly known as Top Dollar, and of course Swerve and BFAB. So that's pretty much it. But he did make a statement about this decision. So this is what he said. After 6 unforgettable years under the WWE lights, the time has come for me to close that chapter, and I'm filled with nothing but gratitude for every opportunity, the experience, lessons, and incredible talent I have had the chance to work with. I'm truly exciting to show what I can really do. Sometimes you gotta get off the multiplayer and progress your story mode. I believe I'm the face of the future and the reason your girl stopped texting you back. The brand new beginning, I am becoming the best version of myself. You only seen a glimpse of my true potential. I'm scratching the surface. I know that some of this can be dark time, but stars can't shine without darkness. Signed, the Adonis out. So yeah, it's still unclear exactly what he's going to do now that he's going to be retiring. No indications of he's being involved in the music biz, or is he going to be starting a new adventure. That is still unclear. So hopefully more information will come out of that. But as of right now, we'll leave things as it is and hopefully wait for more information coming from him. But as of right now, let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Before I go, once again, I apologize to people. I'm sorry I didn't upload any video that was supposed to have the AEW Collision. Unfortunately, things didn't go according to plan. Apparently, certain things got in the way. And I was able to see AEW Collision, but I was unable to, of course, to do the video, to record this, and, of course, upload it for you guys. But because of that, it led me to maybe just take it easy for now and see how things would roll. But luckily, I was able to do MLW, Blood and Guts, Blood and Thunder, and of course the G1. But as I said before, for a while now, I've been saying that I'm going to try to catch up with the latest Joshi events from Tokyo Super Wrestling, Mighty Gold, Stardom, and a few others. So I'm going to focus to catch up with the Joshi wrestling scene, and hopefully with you guys will be cool with that. But as of right now, I will say this, that I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.